Hello friends at Salem Lutheran. Welcome to our weekly message on Monday here. It is, of course, you'll receive it on Tuesday, but recording here on Monday. It is the 12th of October. We're already to the midpoint here, or close to the midpoint in October. We still are continuing our worship services. A little nippy out there on Sunday morning, but still good to see many of you folks out there. It's a little bit of a hearty trip, and thank you for attending. This Sunday looking pretty cold, so bring your blankets, your long johns, bring your winter coats, your parkas, whatever you need to stay warm. We'll try to make the service efficient so that you don't have to out there a long time. But to invite you to join us again on Sunday. Hopefully no rain this week. That's what it's looking like. And speaking of Sundays, it's only a week and a half to Reformation Sunday at the end of October. It's an early October Sunday, and Sam Tallman is going to be our confirmand this year. Many of you know the Tallmans, and so we can send them congratulations and good wishes. Sam is confirmed. We will be able to give you an opportunity to see his confirmation online and be able to hear his faith story as well. So, other things going on. We have a baptism this week. The Ellings are bringing their young daughter for baptism. What a joy that will be. Again, we will try to provide a video so all the folks at Salem can see that. These are events that are very important in the life of the church, and we want to make every opportunity for everybody to be able to enjoy them and see where the faith of our young people is moving. It is that time of year when you might be receiving a call from the nominating committee. Our good folks on the nominating committee are looking for many positions in the council and congregational committees and stuff that are going to need to be filled. So I hope that you'll prayerfully consider those opportunities to serve your church. And thanks for all of you who pray every week, multiple times during the week, but are involved in the prayer chain and such. I know that the folks that I talk to are so appreciative of that and believe that the power of prayer is working in their lives because of you. So that's a great opportunity to serve your community in a very relational way. So here we are. We're going to be moving to a lesson from Matthew's Gospel this week, and so I will read that first and then just talk a little bit about it, and then we'll be using that for the sermon text, and also it will be our prayer text as well. It's a story that I think many of you have heard at some point in time during your years. It comes from Matthew 22. It starts on the 15th verse. Then the Pharisees went and plotted to entrap him, what he said. So they sent their disciples to him along with the Herodians, saying, "Teacher, we know that you are sincere, and teach the way of God in accordance with the truth, and show deference to no one, for you do not regard people with partiality." Tell us then what you think. Is it lawful to pay taxes to the emperor or not? But Jesus was aware of their malice. "Why are you putting me to the test, you hypocrites? Show me the coin used for the tax." They brought him a denarius, and then he said to them, "Whose head is this, and whose title?" They answered, "The emperor's." Then he said to them, "Give therefore to the emperor the things that are the emperor's, and give to God the things that are God's." When they heard this, they were amazed, and they left him and went away. I think the first thing we are struck with in this text is these the bedfellows of the Pharisees and the Herodians. They're not liking each other too much. You have to remember the Herodians are those who defended Herod's right to the throne. The Pharisees do not accept that right, but they live with the fact that it's better than some other oppressive governors and kings, and so they're willing to put up with the Herod government, just as long as they don't interfere too much with religious activities. And so here we have these two unusual groups getting together. It kind of reminds me of be like Packer fans and Viking fans getting together to team up against Jerry Jones. Now, of course, if you don't know football, you don't know what in the world I'm talking about, but just trust me, those two groups don't usually get together. But if there's a common enemy, oftentimes groups will join forces to defeat a common enemy. And so they butter Jesus up, you're sincere, you teach the way of God in accordance with the truth. This is, Jesus can smell this a mile away. They're coming to entrap him, and he knows that. I think that none of us like to be trapped and fooled and scammed or swindled. If anybody's ever been schemed out of money, it's terribly frustrating and very maddening. And so they're putting it up right forth that they're going to try to entrap Jesus. And of course, we go back earlier in the gospel. We remember that story where Jesus is tempted by the devil in the wilderness. And a lot of these entrapments were set up by that story because Jesus was already tempted by the devil. And the Pharisees and the Herodians are no more than another form of that for Jesus as they try to trap him into answering this question. And of course, the whole notion of regarding people without partiality seems like a strange statement in the midst of this. But it means that he's going to be fair about his response. Of course, it's all part of the buttering up. And they're trying to smooth over their little argument here, because you have to remember these Herodians and Pharisees, their job is to debate. And so they got this country bumpkin from Galilee, and they're going to try to trick him. And so the task set forward, the question set forward about being lawful to pay taxes to the emperor or not. The tax, of course, is an economic burden to the Jewish people, but the real underlying claim here is not a legal one, but a religious one. For in the Jewish faith, all belongs to God. Nice stewardship text here, of course. All belongs to God. And the question is rooted in the Torah. If all is rooted in God, are we not, by paying taxes to Rome, usurping God's authority? And so there's a little bit more to the question than sometimes put forth when we've heard other studies on this. So Jesus, of course, astutely, points out, well, whose head is on the coin? And it would have went something like this: Tiberius Caesar, son of the divine Augustus, Pontifex Maximus. It's interesting. We have on the bottom of our coins, most of you have read it, "In God we trust." So your homework will be to find out, and I think I know the answer, your homework will be find out when that came about, when we started stamping that on our coins and on our monetary bills and such. And give me a text, write to me, and I'll be interested to see if the answer I found was the correct one. But I think that derives, though, from this text. We want our money to represent who we are. When we pay for something, it represents our values. And so, "In God we trust" is stamped on our coins. So he then, of course, gives them that great line, give to the emperor what is the emperor, and give to God what is God's. He's not claiming one realm against another. Too often we can wander into the political discussion of this particular text. He's not giving us political sides here, but he's saying that God has all, and well, that's where we're going to end it, because in the sense is that Jesus is leaving us with a message that everything belongs to God, even that coin from the emperor. But since that emperor is running the kingdom, well, it must go back to the emperor. So they were amazed, and they left and they went away. Of course, he slammed their scam, you might say, and they walked away because they were not successful in tempting Jesus. And of course, it's a great, great story about the power of the Word, the power of God in the midst of this temptation. So we'll speak a little bit more about that on Sunday, and we'll have some fun with that text on Thursday as well in our prayer session. So I thank you for joining me here and spending 10 minutes, 11 minutes now with me, and I appreciate your time. Be still during this time of the pandemic and know that the Lord is our God. See you Thursday.